Yeah. And welcome back to Jeff Koinange live right here at Citizen Television. My guest tonight, if you're just joining us, Kiambu Governor Honorable William Kabogo and Tetu Member of Parliament Honorable Dongo Gethenji. Twitter handles are, just to make it simple, if you just type in Kabogo, you'll see it. If you type in Gethenji, you'll see it. And of course, I'm at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag is JK Live. Let's get right to it. There's a poll we're conducting. We're asking you whether the independent candidates, both of whom they are, will have any effect on the August elections, okay? Keep sending your answers. SMS 22422. So far, 44% of you say yes, 56% of you say no. Gentlemen, welcome to the bench.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. Real quick, and you know, we're going to go through this, but I want to ask you something that a lot of people have been saying. They've been calling you all the Losers Club.
Oh, I did.
Governor, your thoughts? They call you the Losers Club.
You know, Kenyans are interesting. They will name you anything. But losers of what? Losers of nominations, or losers of elections, losers of symbolic systems, and really, to me, let's wait. The 8th will be the day that the decision will be made by Kenyans.
Yeah.
And all Kenyans, not just 10% of them. If you look at Nairobi, they voted 9.5%.
Yeah, but you lost miserably to Waitito. You know
I
that.
didn't lose.
You had like 69,000. He had 350,000.
I didn't lose. That's what they say.
You refused to agree.
Those are the results.
Who's
the
they?
results of the Kenyans.
Who's they?
Of the party organization. The guys who conducted the nominations.
Yeah.
That's their result.
Do you believe you were rigged out?
Yeah, I was hoping we wouldn't go back to the nominations, Jeff, and you know,
Why?
Your characterization of this situation as lost.
Yeah, it's not me, it's critics.
Well,
they call you the Losers Club.
Critics will say what critics will say.
Actually, I've seen the Losers Club now here. I've never heard about it. But I've heard them calling us a bunch of losers.
Yes.
But, you know...
Let me just speak to that real quick.
Cool.
If the competition was about how many photocopies you could you know, steal, how many people you could pay to vote 18 times and 30 times in polling stations that closed at midnight rather than the stipulated 5 o'clock, if the competition was about getting those photocopies and marking them in people's houses and bringing them under your jackets and stuffing them in ballot boxes, yes, that competition I lost. But losing the hearts and mind of the electorate, of the voters of Kenya, and myself, Honorable Kabogo, and many other people who have stood as independent candidates who have been requested by the electorate to return back to the poll, back to the ballot, and present themselves so that they could be elected by Wanjiku. Because the election by photocopy was not acceptable.
Do you believe you were rigged out?
Well, I'll speak for myself. In my case, we have evidence. I have a lot of evidence that there was election malpractices, that the so-called nomination was not that. It was a shambles. 18 polling centers in my case stayed open till midnight, some till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Election results were coming into the tallying center at 5 p.m. the following day. Ballot boxes with no lids. My ballots were found in several people's farms the next day and the days after. So, I mean, many things went on. Jeff, I don't think it does justice to the cause of the independent movement, to the cause of the independent candidates, to go back to what did or did not go wrong. Because this happened not only in Jubilee, it happened in CORD, it happened in other parties all across the country. And maybe this is the soul searching that the country needs to determine whether party nominations are going to become part of the fabric of election politics in this country, because in many countries it is not.
Governor,
yes,
you directly blame Deputy President William Ruto for rigging you out. And you said
is that a fact or
on more than one occasion, even yesterday or the day before,
yes,
you said this man rigged you out.
No.
That's what you said.
I didn't say this man, Jeff. What I said is the party that organized, the people that organized the elections made sure that Kabogo did not come back.
Which people were you referring to?
I mean, it's a bunch of guys. There is not one person. It was just a number of people.
Why you? Why you?
It will be anybody. It will be anybody. I'm saying if you don't want Kabogo as governor, then you have to work very hard for it. You have to work very hard.
You sat on this bench 6 weeks ago,
yes,
and you said there's no way in hell that you were going to lose.
Yes.
You lost.
I didn't lose. Jeff, I said I didn't lose. I wasn't in the competition at 4 o'clock. I had known what was going on, and I quit. And I said, I've had enough. I can't do this. Let's do it on the 8th. And I kept quiet for 2 weeks, and everybody was running all over.
Okay, maybe the people of Kiambu were responding to the fact that you abused, in particular, women.
No,
allegedly.
Now you are making an allegation, Jeff.
Governor.
No. Come on.
Governor, did you or did you not?
Let's go with you.
Or did you not?
I never abused women. I love women. I speak to them nicely. My cabinet is 80% women, Jeff. That is a propaganda that is being used to bring hatred between me and the women flock. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
But you appeared after your loss, or
Yes.
not loss, and you were very
Would you like to call it a loss?
that's what
That's what they're saying.
A loss is
What
a
are
loss.
you saying,
No. If you're losing a competition,
What are you saying,
I'm
Jeff?
saying you did not win the nomination.
So this is what I said, Jeff. I left the nominations at 4 o'clock.
I remember you
At 4 o'clock.
You were very angry.
So whatever time they counted, and they were counting, they were doing it alone.
Okay, but afterwards...
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Hang on. I'm saying they did the counting, they did the results, they did the 374 versus 69 on their own. Is that what you call an election? Honestly?
Okay, so how come a couple of days later you appeared in a press conference
Yes.
very subdued?
No,
It
not
was like
not a
different
couple of days. Not a couple of days. It was the same day, 4 o'clock. But you guys sent the team at 7 so that I would appear like I participated. I did not. The
But
facts
you
of the
were
matter-
subdued.
No, I was not
You
subdued.
were humbled.
No, I was okay. I was fine.
Knelt before
No,
women.
I didn't kneel, Jeff.
Come on, what are we making up these pictures?
What TV were you watching? What TV were you watching?
You didn't kneel before women.
No, this must be some comedy. I actually did not kneel before anyone. I don't kneel before man. I kneel before God. That's the only place I can pick a magoti. Nowhere else.
Yes.
Tetu is an anomaly of sorts because MPs do not last more than a term. And we're going back to F.T. Nyamo, the late great Wangari Maathai. Right? What makes you think you can get another term?
Is that a fair question?
It's a fair question.
Really?
Tetu, I mean, they punish their people.
No,
Jeff,
I don't.
Jeff,
I'm not from Tetu.
Oh, so don't answer. Let me ask the Tetu man.
Yes.
Jeff, you know, I just want to speak briefly to the question you asked Kavogo earlier.
Yes.
About propaganda and so on. And
Right.
it just feeds into the same narrative. There's a saying in English that a lie will get halfway around the world before the truth gets out of bed. That's what my brother here is suffering, that the propaganda will get around all over the country, into your media and so on.
And Jeff is swirling it.
I'm fueling it. I'm fueling
He loves
it.
it. But by the way, it reached us too. So this is the anomaly of propaganda. Before the truth actually gets out of bed and gets to the people's ears and into their hearts and minds. Coming to Teto, the people or the electorate of any constituency, Jeff, are swayed or persuaded to vote for any leader who they have hope in for resolving the challenges of their day-to-day lives, the economic, educational, infrastructural challenges that they feel are oppressing their lives. And if a leader presents himself with enough hope and enough track record, history, ability to resolve those issues, then absolutely, certainly, they will vote you in. And that's the whole point. There is no guarantee in any election. You present yourself with your best foot forward, and hence you have candidates who are standing who have never been elected anywhere, even in the local cattle depot, Monanda, or wherever it is, and presenting themselves as the hope of the entire country, yet you know they will do nothing. But my hope is that the work that I have done in Teto, in delivering services to the people, managing the CDF respectably, giving bursaries to children who are less fortunate and giving them the opportunity to learn, and also in projects which are supra-constitutional at national level, where I use my relationships in the government and with the president and with the government of the day to leverage projects that benefit my people, like the water project in Kaigoji with the Gaki irrigation scheme, which is directly impacting over 800 families in 14 sub-locations in my constituency, like the Kiandogoro Mega Dam, which is a 5 billion shilling dam, which is going to be built on the Chania River, which is going to create opportunity for irrigation for the people in my constituency, roads and so on and so forth. And these are things that are happening now. They're not piped dreams, they're not promises, they're not election promises. These are real, they're contracted, they're advertised. And I think the people of Teto realize that for the first time in a long time, they have somebody who they would have faith in returning for a second term. Okay,
you mentioned your relationship with the president. I'm glad you brought that up, because some people in Teto, again, it's not me, people in Teto say, this hobnobbing with the president has made you an absentee MP.
Well, Jeff, if you want to take roll call as to how many times I've been in the constituency, you're welcome to do that. Those people who are saying that are just, as we say in common English, haters. And my haters ni wengi. And that's politics, and they're allowed. We have to give them the space to hate. But the truth is this, Jeff, being an elected leader in the National Assembly, supporting a presidential candidate or a system, there must be some loyalty, and there must be some allegiance, and there must be some direction. Now, if you have, whether it's personal history or political history with the top leadership of any political party, that is considered a plus. Now, anybody who is arguing that a leader who has close proximity to the powers that be is a negative attribute for their constituency, then they need to tell us how we get those projects passed, how we get our people employed if we have no proximity to government structures and the leadership of the government.
Does the president still take your calls?
Do you want us to try now? we can. Why? Governor, that's an unfair question.
All right,
and
Governor,
I'll treat it with the contempt it deserves.
Governor, I want you to listen to a soundbite by your very good friend, Monica. We have that soundbite. Let's just listen in and we'll comment.
Kabogo ni rafiki yangu sana. Na hii serikali ya Uhuru Kenyatta na mimi, huyu Kabogo hawezi kukosa mahali mzuri ya kukaa. Tutafutia yeye mahali hapo.
Maombi.
Your thoughts?
No. About that statement.
Deputy President says,
it's a very interesting statement, it is. Because he seems to want to offer a job.
Yes.
I haven't asked for a job, Jeff. I haven't asked for a job. But it's glad to know that he thinks of me that highly, that I deserve a job. And that I'm a good friend. So those rumoring about me fighting him, he said it himself, that he's my good friend.
But you also...
And really, it's nice to have a friend in the deputy president. Come on, man.
Why
he says that with a straight face.
I'm saying it. He's saying himself. Huyu Kabogo ni rafiki yangu.
Na yeye ni
rafiki wa zamani, ni mungwana. So umesikia anasema ni mungwana. So he knows me very well.
You said again 2 days ago that his 2022 bid is not guaranteed.
No. That's not what I said.
What did you say? Are we writing the wrong thing here?
I'm saying this for the 5th time today. I said it's not automatic to get it because someone said you will get it. You gotta work for it. You gotta work for it. You have to convince us by work that you're the best, and I will support. That's my stand.
Yes.
And he said it himself, and you have the clip that huyu Kabogo vile amesema ni kweli. Na mimi najua kutafuta, na tutatembea hata na yeye kutafuta. So he knows what I said, but there are guys who want to use that to create tension. You know, Kabogo makes news, Jeff.
Yes, he does.
That's why you invited me here.
Correct.
I mean, honestly.
That's why I invited you and not others.
Of course, the others won't come. So what I'm saying, Jeff, the deputy president is right in his own. It's in his right.
Okay, but did you blame him for sabotaging your election, your nomination?
Partly, I may think so. Partly, I may think.
Partly, I may think so. Mean yes or no?
Listen to me. It's not a yes or a no. Because what you hear from people is that he was involved in running the election.
He was in charge.
I'm saying yes. So that's the point. So really, what happened, he should take blame for what happened. If I'm in charge of something, I should be responsible myself. That's what you call as to Senate to do, to bear responsibility of our actions. So the process of what happened in nominations in Jubilee squarely lies in his hands.
And you blame him?
I'm saying squarely runs in his hands.
When people,
because he was responsible for day-to-day happening at the headquarters.
Yeah.
But the guys who did it at the field, whose instructions were they, what were they doing?
why would he want to rig you out?
I don't know.
Is it
I didn't say he rigged me.
Is it 2022?
That's what you people suggest.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Is
it a little
well,
fair?
it may sound. Is Kabogo really that close to 22? Jeff?
You have hinted before you would run for president.
Jeff, is it a crime?
No. No.
Would you run for president?
I would, but I'd get 3 votes.
Do you want to be my running mate?
We can, because we're both in the backyard.
But really, you know, people think that it is wrong to be ambitious, Jeff. A man who has no ambition is no man. Yes, I'm governor now. What next, Jeff?
Yeah.
If I do it good for the people of Kiambu, and Kiambu changes, it becomes a better place, the best place to live and work in Kenya. People would want that to happen everywhere.
Sure.
else. So really, I would make a very good deputy president. I'll make a very good president. If I can do it in Kiambu, I can do it in Kenya.
Would you be Ruto's running mate if he asked you down the line?
Come on, man. Who wouldn't want to be a deputy president? If I know you have chances and you'd come to me and say, hey, buddy,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah.
I'll come with you, man.
Twende kazi.
Let's, what's it to develop
Mbele
kind
iko
of
sawa.
Mbele iko sawa. Lakini sio sawa hivyo. We gotta work for it.
Okay, good. I'll come back to you in that. Dungo, let me ask you this. In Nyeri County, the likes of Mary Wambui, Esther Murungi, they accepted defeat and walked away. Why didn't you just walk away? I mean, do you need this? And I'm asking very honestly, do you need this?
What do you mean need?
Do you need to be MP again? Do you what? You know what?
No, I think nobody needs to be MP, Jeff. It's not a question of a personal need. Leadership is a sacrifice. Nobody can expect that becoming a leader is a bed of roses. That when you become a leader, then your life is made for good. That is not the case, Jeff. I can tell you, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of hard work. You sacrifice your personal time, your family time. Your children don't see you enough. So it's not something I'm doing for personal gain. Absolutely not. This is a calling to serve. And for me, personally, it has been a calling to serve since 2002 when I stood for the MP of Teto on a Kanu ticket. My father was a public servant. He served as a civil servant for 50% of his life. He then spent the last 5 years as an elected leader of his life, and I saw the goodness that came out of his public service. So it was an inspiration for me personally to want to serve and to want to work with people at the highest level who are serving the Kenyan public. Because for me, I believe that if we do not sacrifice ourselves, if we do not use the exposure that one is given through their life to improve the country that they live in, then this country, Jeff, will never change. And this country, for me personally, is the best country in the world in which anybody can live, and that is borne out by even all the expatriates who come here. When their tour of duty finishes, they cry before leaving the airport, and some even sneak back and buy plots of land and settle, because Kenya is beautiful. But the only way Kenya can be beautiful is if we make Kenya beautiful. Nobody is going to come from out there and make Kenya beautiful. So this is about what are we ready to do for our country, and that's what I'm doing. Having said that, are you disappointed in the results of what happened in the nomination? Are you disappointed? Jeff, I don't know what this hangover is with the nomination. The nomination is behind us, Jeff. The nomination is history. We are now in a new era where the people have called on the leaders that they believe they want to lead them, and they want to serve, to present themselves on the ballot as independent candidates. And they've said, in Honorable Kabogo's case, in my case, in Kabando's case, in many other people, Buzeki's case, many candidates. Jeff, you said it yourself. We are 4,900. And I can tell you for a fact, 4,900 of these people didn't just wake up in the morning and decide to run as independents. They were told by their electorate. Their people said, we want you to come back to the ballot and we will elect you. In my case, that is exactly what the people said. I was ready to accept, but the people said, no, we did not elect anybody in the nomination. And in fact, they said, come as an independent candidate to the ballot, and we will show you our verdict. Will you both accept defeat if you lose? Dumo? Yes.
I mean, Jeff, that's the IEBC election. And you talk about nominations like it's the election.
It is not.
Nairobi voted 9.5%. Can you truly refer to nominations in Nairobi as an election? It was just a party issue. How many people, Jeff, are in the National Assembly now, the 11th Parliament, who were in parties before, during nominations, and for whatever reason, they didn't go forward with the party. Either they lost, as you say, lost, you know, that group, but now they're in Parliament. They're in Parliament.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
About 46 MPs in the current House were in party nominations with parties, and they lost. But when they went to the electorate, you know, during the day of the general elections, they were voted in.
Will you accept defeat?
Of course.
You will?
Yes, of course.
And you're ready to accept double defeat?
Jeff,
now you're taking it elsewhere. We're not going to do a Jubilee election on the 8th. We're not going to do a NASA election on the 8th, Jeff. Come on, man, get it right.
I'm still...
We are done with that exercise that you're calling elections.
Okay.
It was not elections.
Yeah.
Elections is on the 5th, on the 8th of August. And if you read Katiba, it will tell you it is on the 2nd Tuesday of August of the 5th year.
Yes.
And that will happen every other 5 years.
Katiba,
so this one,
let me jump in right here.
Listen, this one is on the 8th.
Yeah.
So if you want to know what happens, check with me on the 9th.
Jeff, let me jump in here.
Go.
Many established democracies in the world, including that of the United States, that of the United Kingdom, even in South Africa, and even, Jeff, in Kenya's history, party nominations were never practiced. They don't practice party nominations in the United States. They don't practice party nominations in the UK, nor in South Africa. And in the past, in Kenya, we didn't used to practice party nominations. The question is this. If you're seeing a phenomenon, which this is, of 4,900 candidates going to the polls as independent candidates, when established parties like Jubilee have 1,800 candidates, and let's say those who are supporting Uhuruto's re-election are in the region of 2,700. Okay? We are actually more than Jubilee. So is this signaling the death or the end of the political party if party primaries are going to be conducted as they have been? Because the Constitution provides that the IEBC to conduct party nominations. Now, let me take you on a small journey. When Jubilee was being collapsed into its formative self, as it is now, we had TNA, we had URP, and we had many other fringe parties which were supporting the coalition of the day. Jeff, I can tell you, there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear in the minds of those other parties outside of even within TNA and URP, of people saying, look, if we collapse into Jubilee into one party, then our political space is going to be crushed because the thing is going to be managed and run at the top. The fear was always about nominations. But the party addressed that by saying, IEBC, as the Constitution provides, will conduct the party primaries. So people were corralled. Oh yes, comfort was increased, and people
took a deep breath. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to happen. Okay, free and fair. So everybody moved into that space. As they continued collapsing, there was still some concern. IEBC fell by the wayside. So there was, oh, okay, now it's not IEBC. So who's it going to be? Then it became, oh, okay, we're going to do, you know, security printing job, serialized ballots with security features, colored paper with your pictures and so on. So it's, you know, high-tech stuff that, you know, is very difficult to manipulate. So
digital cards.
You know, then Comfort was bought again, and then it was about, then it was actually digital cards, you know, smart cards. So Comfort was bought. Smart cards fell by the wayside. After we bought a lot of them, I actually bought several. Then it was, you know, the week of the nomination. It was these fantastic ballot papers, which were actually very good, by the way. And Jeff, let me say it here again on national TV, because I've been saying it severally. On day one, the Friday, with the colored papers, I won. They burnt the papers in every...
How do you know you won?
Because we counted. We counted, my people counted. They actually, before they burnt them, they counted them. And when they counted, they had a tally, and I won. So how can I win on Friday and come fourth on Wednesday? So after that color paper, you know, bonfire, then came photocopies. Now I can tell you for free, Jeff, if day one Before the collapse of political parties, it was said that the party primaries nominations was going to be done with photocopied paper, with ballot boxes with no lids and so on and so forth. I can tell you for free, nobody would have collapsed and nobody would have signed up. We would have all either stayed where we were or gone for independence.
Good question to ask, Jeff.
Yes.
The photocopies, how many people had knowledge that we were going to use photocopies of what aborted on Friday?
What do you mean how many people had knowledge?
Do you think that it's only the guy who decided at the party headquarters that let's photocopy? If that information was given out or leaked out to other people other than Kabogo or Githinji, we have clips, Jeff, now. Young men locked up in some room, and you can hear the noise of goats and stuff, marking ballots, and you can see this is a ballot for a certain word in Kiambu. And the boys are complaining. It is too tiring, Jeff, to mark. They need another 5,000. They came to Inoro TV asking for payment. So really, you're pushing us to speak nominations.
Okay.
We are past nominations.
All right.
Let me tell you, the next amendment on the election statute that will happen in the next parliament will be to lock people from coming from parties to independents. Yes. This was just a window that was left open. Those who blocked people from moving from parties to other parties, they forgot this window.
So if you're
this window will
now,
be locked.
you'll stay independent?
Absolutely, Jeff. I
well,
mean,
yeah, that's it.
Look, the point of independence is that a leader is called to serve his electorate. The leader is serving them with his best, know-how, ability, capability, history, and so on, and relationships, because leadership is about leveraging relationships. And I can tell you for free, many of those who are now naysaying independent candidates are going around saying, oh, you cannot trust those people in the National Assembly because they're independent and therefore they will not support the government. I can tell you, Jeff, my record in the National Assembly of supporting the president and the government agenda is 100%. I can show you my colleagues in TNA, in the Jubilee Coalition, and I can name them because the record is in Parliament, and I love Parliament. It's a house of record. Their record is terrible. If we remove the record here and show how many times they voted against government agenda, you will be shocked. And these are now the people who are carrying flags saying, they're the ones who are loyal. Not loyal.
But again, Jeff,
record, and the record is clear.
Is it about just supporting anything that comes from government?
Not anything, no.
So, what are you saying?
Yeah,
what happens in the UK? What happens in the US?
Sure.
You find Republicans voting against a government, a Republican
president.
Really, it's about issues, not about parties.
Sure.
When are we going to get there as Kenya?
Are we going to get there?
Yes. And actually, the question you're asking today, whether
what kind
independence
of effect?
will have any effect,
Yes.
I think what you should have asked, in my mind, is do you think independent candidates will get voted in? And you will see the results.
Real quick, before we go to commercial break, give me a rough estimate. You said about 4,000, right? Independents?
Yes.
What percentage do you think will come in? Dongo?
If we're looking at the ones who are supporting Uhuruto, the ones who we as the Kenya Alliance of Independent Candidates are responsible for, if you take an average, an estimate of a 10% conversion rate, 10% of 2,700 is what?
270.
That's a lot.
270.
So let's cut that in half, Jeff.
135.
Isn't that a lot?
Again,
let's cut that in half again, Jeff.
65 and change.
Again, Jeff.
I mean, this is a serious phenomenon, Jeff. This is not a fly-by-night situation here that is happening in Kenya. This is a real transformation in elective politics and the thinking of the public that is happening in this country today, which I think is very healthy, because ultimately what it's doing is expanding the democratic space, which is what everybody wants, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff, I'll tell you what's going to happen next election. Once we are done with the 8th, and the number of candidates who will, make it through from independents will be so huge, in the future, there will be no party nominations. People would not want to go to the party.
They'll just go solo.
They will just go solo, because Kenyans now have learned that it is the person they want to vote for. Before, candidates, what happened.
The party was the
That's
president.
not what is happening now. You can hear the noise is very loud about let us decide. Please leave this to us to decide. Kenyans are saying.
Okay, gentlemen, let's take a break.
And that's what the Constitution says. There will be an election every 5 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's take a break, come back, talk some more, okay?
Indeed.
KAIC. By the way, you're the chairman of the Kenya Association.
Alliance.
Kenya Alliance of
You
Independent
got it
Candidates.
right, yes. I'm
Chairman,
the chair, yes.
Secretary General.
Yes.
And when was this formed? Right after the nominations?
Just about 3 weeks
So
after
is this going to, I mean, are you all one group? Will you be voting together? Are you going to be grouped together as KAIC?
Remember, we are not a party, Jeff.
Correct, you're not a party.
We're an alliance. We're an association.
Right.
We have common
you will stay as an
interests. We
alliance.
have common interests. We need to go and speak to IEBC about elections. They'll hear us because we're a voice. We're a group. We're a number.
Okay, before we go to break, let's take a look at the latest results. Oh my goodness,
It's
look at
going
that.
up.
There you go.
Will independence determine the outcome of the election?
It's going up.
49%.
And when you come back, I'll speak to that,
Error of margin?
that question.
Okay, 51%. I mean, this is tight.
Margin of error.
Plus minus 10 in this unscientific poll.
So the difference is just about 2%.
There you go. Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely.
Really, even if it was 30-70,
Yes.
I'll still say there it is.
Are you shocked? Are you shocked at this?
No. It's going to change by the end of
It
the night.
should be the other way around.
I'll tell you why. It should be the other way around. And I'll
right.
tell you why.
Keep tweeting at. Just type in Kabogo, you'll see the name. At Githenji, same thing. Otherwise, you know, honorable stuff, it's just complicated.
Yes.
Yeah. At Koinange Jeff, the hashtag is JK Live. We're going to read your tweets. You're going to read your SMS. We're going to check some more. These are the independents.
Yep.
And they're talking it up, folks. They are not afraid to go out on a limb. Wow. Where's my extinguisher? Maybe later. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Don't spray me that thing.
JK